London, 1821. Rain polishes stone and rumor polishes reputation. The season glitters under chandeliers. Every curtsy hides a question. Every smile hides a ledger. Our tale begins with a door that closed without a goodbye. A duchess left. A duke learned that silence can be a sentence. Arabella wears an empire gown in soft sage. Lace trims the neckline like frost. Her gloves are pearl white. Her chin is high and her heart is bruised. Sebastian wears a midnight tailcoat. His cravat is starched into obedience. His posture is perfect and useless. He owns land, carriages, and apologies he never said. The orchestra swells. Fans open like verdicts. A butler crosses the ballroom with a small leather book. The room pivots to stare. The hostess announces a discovery. A diary was found in a sealed trunk by the river. It bears the name Lady Amelia. Yes, that Lady Amelia. Arabella stills. Lady Amelia is her grandmother. Gasps travel faster than waltzes. The diary rests on ivory damask. Candlelight licks the edge of the last page. The final sentence ends mid-word. Ink stops where a voice might have been stopped. The crowd tastes scandal. Sebastian steps forward. His voice is low and careful. He asks permission to examine the page. Permission is granted because rank opens doors truth cannot. He sees a faint mark near the margin. A pressed seal was there once. A raven holding a key. Arabella feels the floor tilt. A maid slips a folded card into her glove. The gesture is quick and treasonous. She steps onto the terrace. Rain breathes over clipped hedges. Topiaries stand like discreet witnesses. She opens the card. One line waits inside. The past is not lost. It sleeps where roses refuse to die. Her eyes find the far garden arch. Old climbing roses bloom out of season. Thorns shine like jewels with opinions. Sebastian joins her at a respectful distance. He has learned the language of space. He notes the pen pressure on the card. A practiced hand. A habit of orders. He does not mention that he would set London on fire if she asked. Arabella says the roses name a place, the abandoned painter's garden by the river. Amelia loved that studio. They cross gravel that does not care for titles. Mud ignores silk. Arabella lifts her hem with an honesty society never applauds. Under the arch, roots clutch old soil. She brushes damp leaves away. A tin box waits half-buried. Wax seals its edge. The crest shows a raven with a key. Lord Blackwood's private mark. History leans in. Sebastian dries the lid with a handkerchief. He does not break the seal. He lets her choose. Her gaze holds his. Courage answers for her. The wax cracks. Inside lies a pressed rose and a thin paper. 2 hands wrote upon it. Amelia's line ends in fear. A second hand completes the thought. Finish what she could not. The first truth will cost you. A cane taps stone behind them. Lord Blackwood enters the lantern glow like a verdict with good breeding. Velvet coat. Gloves the color of secrets. A smile that never reaches the eyes. Gardens are dangerous for sentimental hearts, he says. Diaries are best when they end early, he says. He offers Arabella his arm, as if generosity were a weapon. Sebastian steps between them. He does not raise his voice. He does not need to. Blackwood withdraws with a bow that feels like a leash. The terrace keeps their breath. They return to the ballroom. The diary gleams under higher flames. New ink glistens where there was none. A fresh line appears at the bottom margin. Not all silences are final. Some are bargains. A masked footman arrives with a sealed envelope. He sets it beside the diary and vanishes like a rumor with wages. The wax is warm. The crest is the raven with a key. Arabella reaches out. Sebastian's hand hovers near hers. The chandeliers hum. London listens. The envelope should not exist. It waits to be opened. The ballroom has emptied, but gossip never sleeps. Somewhere between midnight and memory, Arabella and Sebastian remain beneath the chandeliers, the envelope between them, pulsing with the weight of the unsaid. Arabella's hand trembles. She has faced scandals, secrets, and Sebastian's apologies. But this feels different. This feels alive. She breaks the seal. A faint scent of roses escapes. Inside, a single page of thick vellum, the ink glimmering as if freshly written. Lady Amelia was betrayed by the one she trusted most. Beneath the river, the truth breathes still. Midnight. Come alone. The paper hums in her hand, faintly warm. Sebastian's gaze darkens. The river again. Arabella looks up. She feared water all her life. Why would she hide anything there? He answers softly. Maybe because no one would look. The orchestra's ghost lingers, one violin string still humming from the last note. A servant coughs in the distance, pretending not to watch. Arabella folds the letter and slips it into her glove. She straightens. I'm going. Sebastian says, You will not go alone. She smirks. I never said I would be alone. I said I would go unseen. He exhales, equal parts admiration and dread. Then I'll follow your shadow. The carriage rattles through fog and silence. London sleeps under a sheet of rain. Arabella's face is pale under her hood, her eyes steady on the horizon. Sebastian sits across from her, watching her instead. He says, I cannot decide if this is bravery or madness. She replies, It's both. The women in my family have always been inconveniently alive. The Thames appears like a beast in chains, moonlight crawling over its black surface. They stop at the old painter's studio, Amelia's favorite hiding place. Windows shuttered, ivy swallowing brick. A single candle flickers inside. Arabella and Sebastian step into the smell of damp air and turpentine. Inside, easels lean like forgotten witnesses. A chair overturned, and on the table, another diary, smaller, bound in dark green leather. Arabella touches it. The wax seal bears the raven again. She opens it. The first page reads, in Amelia's familiar hand, To those who found me too late, the river never kept my secrets. Men did. Sebastian stiffens. His father's ring bears the same crest, a raven with a key. His voice is hoarse. My family's mark. Arabella turns the next page. More words appear, right before their eyes. Not inked. Appearing, letter by letter. The Duke's father made a bargain. I was the price. The air in the room collapses into silence. Sebastian steps back as if struck. No, Arabella whispers, your father. And Blackwood. The quill on the desk rolls. No one touched it. It moves again, upright, poised, waiting. Sebastian whispers, This isn't ink, it's confession. Arabella's hand hovers above the page. Then, a new line appears. If you wish to know the rest, come to the chapel beneath the river. The candle goes out. Darkness swallows everything. Arabella feels Sebastian's hand find hers, firm, human, trembling. He whispers, We're not done yet. She squeezes back. No, we're only beginning. Outside, the river moves with purpose, as if it too remembers the truth. London, 1821. The fog thickens like breath on glass. The city sleeps, but secrets do not. Arabella stands at her window, the raven seal heavy in her hand. The diary lies open on her desk, its last words still glowing faintly. Come to the chapel, beneath the river. She doesn't know whether the message is a trap, a plea, or a curse. But she knows one thing. Lady Amelia's story is not done. The door creaks softly. Sebastian enters, coat unbuttoned, eyes shadowed by sleepless hours. He doesn't ask if she's going. He simply says, I'll bring the lantern. They ride in silence through the night. The carriage wheels hiss against the wet cobblestones. Somewhere behind them, London's laughter fades into rain. The river swells under the moonlight, silver and dangerous. At its edge, half swallowed by ivy and time, stands a chapel. Forgotten by priests, remembered by ghosts. Sebastian steps out first, the lantern's flame trembling against the mist. Arabella follows, skirts brushing the damp stone. The chapel door moans as it opens. Inside it smells of earth, old incense, and something like regret. Faded murals stare down from the walls, saints with cracked halos. The altar is gone. In its place, a staircase spirals downward, disappearing beneath the floor. Arabella's voice is barely a whisper. Who builds a church over a secret? Sebastian answers. Someone who wanted to bury faith and guilt in the same place. They descend. The steps narrow, slick with age. The air grows colder with every turn. Below, a faint glow pulses, as if the river itself were breathing light. At the bottom, a stone corridor. The walls hum with the sound of water pressing from the other side. At its end, an iron door, shaped like a cross split in two. And in the center, a lock shaped as a raven's wing. Sebastian takes the golden key from his pocket. It fits perfectly. The door opens with a sound halfway between a sigh and a scream. The chamber beyond is lined with candles that have no wax, no flame, only light. On a marble table rests a writing desk, quill poised, paper waiting. And in the center, a book identical to the diary upstairs. Arabella approaches slowly. Her reflection flickers in the polished marble. When she touches the quill, the ink in the bottle ripples. Then words begin to form. Not in ink, in light. If you've come this far, the river will keep no more lies. Arabella steps back, heart hammering. Sebastian's gaze sweeps the chamber. Someone planned this. Someone wanted you to find it. The light trembles again, forming another line. The Duke's father swore loyalty to the crown, but his crown was Blackwood's coin. Sebastian's voice cracks. My father? The ink flows faster now, as if impatient. Amelia tried to stop him. They made her choose between silence and shame. She chose disappearance. Arabella closes her eyes, tears burning behind her lids. Her grandmother's voice seems to fill the room, soft but unrelenting. They took my name, but not my truth. Sebastian whispers, all this time. The scandal wasn't madness. It was mercy. Arabella turns to him. Your family let her be destroyed. He looks away, jaw tight. Yes, and now mine will atone. He kneels by the table, pressing his hand against the marble. The light seeps beneath his fingers, absorbing, forgiving, or judging. When he stands, the glow fades. Only the silence of water remains. On their way back up the stairs, something moves in the dark. Footsteps, measured, calm. From the shadows, Lord Blackwood emerges, elegant, unhurried, as if he has been waiting centuries. The lantern's light cuts across his face. There is no surprise there, only amusement. I see you've found my chapel, he says softly. I built it for truth, not that it ever thanked me. Arabella's voice is steady. You built it to hide her. He smiles. Ah, but you misunderstand, my dear. I did not kill your grandmother. I protected her, from the Duke's father, and from herself. Sebastian's eyes blaze. Liar! Blackwood tilts his head. Then tell me, your grace, who do you think paid for her escape? Who do you think forged her death? Arabella's breath catches. She's alive? Blackwood's lips curve. Alive, perhaps, but not unchanged. Before Sebastian can step forward, a deep rumble shakes the chapel. The river groans overhead, as if the truth has woken something ancient. Blackwood turns toward the door, unfazed. Find her if you can, but be warned, the living lie far better than the dead. He disappears into the darkness, footsteps fading like the last notes of a hymn. The candles flicker out. Arabella grabs Sebastian's arm. The door behind them slams shut. In the black silence, her voice trembles. She's alive, Sebastian. My grandmother is alive. He answers. Then we'll find her. Even if London itself must drown for us to do it. The river roars overhead. And somewhere within its depths, something begins to move. London, 1821. The rain hasn't stopped for days. The river swells as if angry that its secrets have been disturbed. Arabella hasn't slept. Every time she closes her eyes, she hears Lord Blackwood's words. Find her if you can. The living lie far better than the dead. She paces the drawing room, candle in hand. Sebastian sits nearby, coat unbuttoned, shirt sleeves rolled, the map of the Thames spread before him. He looks up. There are only 3 places by the river old enough to hide someone for 20 years. The painter's studio, the chapel, and the mill. Arabella stops pacing. The mill? He nods. My father's old property. It was sold after Amelia's death, to Blackwood. Her pulse quickens. Then that's where she is. They travel at dawn. The carriage wheels cut through mud and memory. The sky, pale and bruised, leans low over the fields. When they arrive, the mill looms like a skeleton of stone and iron. Water turns the wheel slowly, as though time itself limps there. Sebastian dismounts first. He pushes open the heavy door. It groans, a sound too human. Inside, shafts of light pierce the gloom. Dust floats like ghosts in slow motion, and in the center of the vast room stands a single easel. On it, a half-finished painting of a garden full of roses. Arabella's breath catches. It's hers. She steps closer. The brush strokes are unmistakable, Amelia's style, precise and alive. But the paint is fresh. Sebastian touches the frame. Someone was here recently. Then they hear it. A sound faint but deliberate. Footsteps on the upper floor. He draws his pistol, gestures for silence. Arabella follows, heart pounding. The stairs creak as they ascend. The corridor above smells of oil, turpentine, and rain. At the end of it, a door half open. Sebastian pushes it wider. Inside, an elderly woman, hair silver and wild, stands before a window. She paints by candlelight, her back to them. Her hand is steady, her strokes careful. Lady Amelia, Arabella whispers. The brush stills. The woman turns. Her eyes, gray, sharp, alive. Lines mark her face, but they are carved by will, not age. She studies Arabella for a long, trembling moment. Then her voice, soft but clear. I told the river not to speak, but it never listens. Arabella steps forward, tears already burning her throat. Grandmother. Everyone thought. Amelia smiles faintly. They were supposed to. Sebastian lowers the pistol slowly. Why? Why hide? Why let them destroy your name? Amelia's gaze moves from him to the window. Because truth was worth more dead than alive, and the man I trusted most had already sold it. Arabella swallows. Blackwood? Amelia shakes her head. Not him. Your grandfather. The air in the room sharpens like broken glass. Sebastian freezes. My father? Amelia nods. Blackwood was his partner, yes, but your father was the one who ordered it. He feared exposure, feared losing his legacy. He gave me a choice, silence or disgrace, so I chose neither. I chose to vanish. She turns back to Arabella, her eyes glistening. I wrote the diaries for you, child, because one day someone had to reopen the wound and clean it properly. Arabella steps forward and takes her grandmother's hand. Then it's done. The truth is out. Amelia's lips tremble. No, not yet. From the shadows behind the easel, a voice cuts through the air, low, familiar, venomous. I was hoping you'd say that. Lord Blackwood steps out, pistol raised, smile intact. Touching reunion, really, but I can't allow this chapter to end so neatly. Sebastian moves fast. He shoves Arabella aside as the gun fires. The shot splinters the painting instead of flesh. Blackwood snarls, reloads, but Sebastian is already upon him. The two men crash into the easel, scattering brushes, canvases, and truth. The river roars outside, rain hammering the roof. Arabella grabs the fallen pistol, hands shaking. Enough, she cries, but her voice is drowned by thunder. A second shot, muffled, close. Blackwood stumbles back, clutching his side. Sebastian's chest heaves. The pistol smokes in his hand. Blackwood sinks to the floor, laughter spilling between gasps. You think truth saves you? Truth only changes who burns. His eyes roll back, silence. Only the rain speaks now. Amelia kneels, trembling. Her hand brushes Blackwood's fallen glove. Inside the lining, something small, metallic. She pulls it free. A signet ring, the same raven with a key, but inside the band, another engraving. To A.W. until the end. Arabella stares at it. What does it mean? Amelia's voice is barely a breath. It means your grandfather loved his lie more than he ever loved me. She rises, shoulders straight despite the years. Burn this place. Let the river wash what remains. Sebastian nods, but Arabella steps to her grandmother's side and takes her hand again. No more running. This time, the truth stays above the water. By morning, smoke curls above the Thames. The old mill is gone. Only ashes and the scent of roses linger. And yet, as they leave, Arabella glances once more at the river. For just a second, she swears she sees a shadow moving beneath its surface, a hand writing something unseen against the current. The truth, still alive, still waiting for its final page. Dawn smolders over London like the end of a long secret. Smoke from the burned mill drifts across the Thames, turning sunlight into ghostlight. Arabella hasn't spoken since the fire. Sebastian rides beside her, his hand bandaged, his eyes hollow. Amelia sleeps in the carriage opposite them, pale but alive. The silence between them feels like another secret, one that neither knows how to open. They return to Wycliffe Hall. The great house that once represented order now hums with unease. Servants glance at them but say nothing. Even whispers feel dangerous. In the library, Amelia sits before the hearth, staring at the flames as if they could rewrite the past. Sebastian stands nearby, too ashamed to sit. Arabella moves between them. Bridge, daughter, judge. Amelia speaks first. The truth has burned, but embers remain. Sebastian swallows hard. I'll tell the magistrate everything. My father's crimes, the cover-ups, all of it. Amelia shakes her head. You'll destroy the Wycliffe name. It will ruin you. He answers quietly. It already has. Arabella meets his eyes. Then let ruin become redemption. That evening, a messenger arrives from the Crown. A royal seal. An invitation to testify before Parliament. Sebastian breaks the wax. His voice is steady, but his hands aren't. They're reopening the Blackwood case. They want me to confirm his dealings and my father's involvement. Amelia turns toward him. Go, speak, end it. Arabella lays her hand on his. You will not go alone. He smiles faintly. You're not invited. She answers, I wasn't invited to survive either, yet here I am. 3 days later, Parliament hums with scandalous anticipation. Every peer in London wants to witness the Duke who dared to expose his own bloodline. Newspapers call it the fall of Wycliffe, or its rebirth. Arabella sits in the gallery, veil lowered, heart loud. Amelia stays home. Her health is fragile, but her will is iron. Sebastian stands before the committee, tall and unflinching. His statement is simple, unembellished, devastating. He speaks of greed, of false deaths, of the raven seal used to buy silence. He confesses his father's sins as if they were his own. When he finishes, the chamber holds its breath. A parliamentarian rises. And what of Lady Amelia Wycliffe? Sebastian lifts his chin. She lives. She was forced into hiding by those who feared the power of an honest woman. Her name will no longer be spoken with scandal, but with honor. Applause erupts. Brief, uncertain, but real. The kind that sounds like history turning a page. That night, Sebastian returns home exhausted. The hall is dark, except for the soft glow from the parlor. Arabella waits by the window, wearing a pale gown embroidered with tiny pearls. She looks like calm, carved out of chaos. He enters quietly. She'll be cleared of all charges. The Crown has restored her title. Arabella exhales, shoulders trembling with relief. Then it's done. Sebastian crosses to her. Not yet. He takes something from his coat, a small box. Inside lies a ring, simple gold, no crest, no raven. Titles built this curse. I'd rather build something real. Arabella looks up, stunned. Sebastian. He smiles, weary but certain. Marry me. Not as the Duchess the papers adore, but as the woman who taught me how to tell the truth. Her eyes fill. Is this a proposal or a confession? He steps closer. Both. She laughs softly, a sound that tastes of freedom. Then she nods. Yes. In the quiet that follows, Amelia watches from the doorway. Her frail hand clutches the edge of the wall, but her eyes shine. You've done it, she whispers. You've turned my tragedy into your beginning. Arabella rushes to her, embracing her gently. Amelia leans in close. There is one more thing you must know. Arabella stills. What is it? Amelia looks toward the fire, where the flames flicker blue. When I disappeared, I wasn't entirely alone. Sebastian frowns. What do you mean? Amelia's voice lowers, almost trembling. There was a child, born in hiding, taken from me before I fled London. Arabella freezes. A child? Amelia nods. A boy. He would be 20 now. The world narrows. Arabella feels her heart stop and start again in the same breath. Sebastian whispers. Then he's... Amelia finishes, eyes glistening. My heir, and if Blackwood survived his wound, he'll be looking for him. The fire crackles. Outside, thunder rolls again over London. The river, restless as ever, seems to murmur beneath the night. The truth never ends. It only changes its disguise. A storm gathers over London as if the sky itself refuses to stay silent. Inside Wycliffe Hall, the fire burns high, but everyone feels the cold. Arabella stands frozen by the hearth, her fingers gripping the back of a chair. Sebastian stares at Lady Amelia as though he's seeing a ghost twice over. A child? He repeats, voice raw. Amelia nods slowly. A boy. Born in haste and hidden in fear. I gave him to a trustworthy family beyond the city, where Blackwood and your father could never reach him. I called him Nathaniel. Arabella's lips tremble. Does he know who he is? Amelia's eyes glaze. He knew only that his mother was gone to the river. I meant to return for him once it was safe. Sebastian paces, hands clenched. Then Blackwood was telling the truth. He was looking for the boy. Amelia whispers, not to find him, but to own him. If the child signs away his claim to the estate, Blackwood retains power through the family's investments. Arabella meets Sebastian's eyes. We must find him first. They leave at dawn. The road to Kent is mud and memory. Amelia rides in the carriage, wrapped in a shawl, while Sebastian and Arabella follow the directions written in Amelia's hand. The House of Ashwood, second bridge past the orchard. Ask for Mrs. Graham. The village is quiet, its streets still wet from night rain. When they reach Ashwood Cottage, smoke rises from its chimney like a sign of life hard won. A woman answers the door with kind but guarded eyes. Mrs. Graham? Arabella asks. The woman nods. Her gaze moves to Amelia and softens instantly. Lady Amelia, you look just the same. I thought I'd never see you again. Amelia's voice shakes. Is he here? Mrs. Graham turns slightly, calling over her shoulder. Nathaniel, love, come in a moment. A young man enters, perhaps 20, with ink-stained hands and the uneasy confidence of someone who knows he doesn't belong anywhere. He bows politely to the strangers, then freezes when he sees Amelia. Do I know you? He asks. Her smile breaks. You knew me once, as your mother. Nathaniel steps back, shaking his head. That's not possible. Amelia takes his hand, pressing into it a locket with the raven and key crest. I gave this to you when you were born. It was the only thing I kept of the Wycliffe name. His eyes fill as memory flickers like a candle in wind. He whispers, the river. You used to tell me it sang my name. Amelia nods, weeping. I sang so you'd never forget me. Before reunion can become peace, hoofbeats echo outside. Sebastian moves to the window. 3 riders approach, Blackwood's men. "Get them inside," he orders. "Barricade the door." The first bullet shatters the window. Arabella flinches but keeps her voice steady. "Sebastian, the river runs behind the orchard. We can escape through the boats." They run. Rain begins again, as if called by panic itself. Nathaniel helps Amelia into the small rowboat, then turns to help Arabella. A gunshot rings out. Sebastian fires back, gritting his teeth. "Go! Get her out!" Arabella shakes her head. "I'm not leaving without you." Another shot. Wood splinters. Then sudden silence. Only rain and river. Sebastian looks up. The riders have retreated. For now. He climbs into the boat, breathless, and pushes them into the current. As they drift away, Nathaniel stares at the dark water. "There's something here," he murmurs, leaning over the edge. Something gleams beneath the surface, metal and script. Arabella peers down. Carved into a sunken stone is a single line of engraved words. "The raven returns for what was never buried." Sebastian meets her eyes. He knew we'd come this way. The river turns violent, current pulling harder. They cling to each other as the boat spins. Amelia shouts, voice piercing the storm. "It's not a warning, it's a map." Lightning flashes. The riverbank ahead glows, revealing the mouth of a tunnel hidden beneath the bridge. Nathaniel points. "There!" Sebastian steers toward it, the boat scraping stone as they enter darkness. The roar of water fades to an echo. They find themselves in a vaulted chamber carved beneath the city, lined with stone archways and ancient symbols of ravens and keys. Amelia sinks to her knees. "My God! He built it here, all along." Arabella steps closer, voice barely a whisper. "Built what?" Amelia looks up, tears and awe mingling in her eyes. "The real house of Wycliffe, the one that was never meant to be seen." The lamplight flickers against stone walls covered in names, hundreds of them, the forgotten workers, servants, and orphans used in the family's rise. It's a tomb and a ledger in one. Arabella touches the wall, her voice breaking. "This is the truth your father tried to bury." Sebastian nods. "Then let it bury his legacy instead." The river howls above them like applause from the heavens. And in the darkness, a soft sound. Metal dragging on stone. Someone else is there. A shadow moves between the pillars. Then a voice, cold and familiar. "Your father isn't the only ghost that refuses to die." The lantern flares once. And from the dark steps, Lord Blackwood, alive, bleeding and smiling. The chamber freezes. Water drips from the ceiling like the tick of a slow clock. Arabella's breath catches before she can even speak. Blackwood steps into the lantern light, his coat torn, his shirt stained dark with dried blood. Yet his eyes gleam with something more dangerous than pain. Purpose. "You thought a bullet and a fire could end me?" he says softly. "Truth burns slower than people think." Sebastian instinctively steps in front of Arabella, pistol raised. "How are you alive?" Blackwood smirks. "I've been dead before. The world finds it profitable to resurrect devils." His gaze shifts to Nathaniel, who grips Amelia's arm protectively. "So the lost son has found his way home. How poetic." Arabella snaps, "You've no claim over him." "On the contrary," Blackwood says, walking closer. "He is the last key to the fortune your family stole, and the only reason I survived. Your grandfather promised me his heir's inheritance. It seems he kept his word, from beyond the grave." Sebastian's voice sharpens. "You'll get nothing." "Oh, I'll get everything," Blackwood replies. "Because this boy will sign, and if not, the crown will take it anyway. Then your precious truth will die in Parliament, buried under honor and red wax." He gestures to the carvings on the wall, the names of the forgotten. "This chamber is not a confession. It's an insurance policy. Wycliffe Gold was built on these lives. Do you think the Queen will let that story reach the papers?" Arabella steps forward, her voice trembling with anger. "Then you've already lost, because I will tell it myself." Blackwood laughs. The Duchess of Wycliffe writing scandalous memoirs. How brave, how foolish. He lifts his hand, and from the shadows 2 more figures emerge. Armed men, faces hidden by masks. Sebastian fires first. One shot hits the stone, the echo thunderous. The other man lunges. Arabella grabs a lantern and throws it. Flames bloom across the floor, cutting the chamber in half with a curtain of fire. Smoke and chaos. Blackwood shouts an order, but the roar of the blaze drowns it out. Sebastian drags Arabella toward the tunnel. "Go!" she resists. "The diaries. They'll burn either way. You won't." Nathaniel pulls Amelia along, coughing. They reach the river tunnel, but as they turn, a hand grabs Arabella's arm, Blackwood's. "You think you're different from them?" he hisses. "You'll end your days in silk and silence, same as your grandmother." Arabella stares into his eyes, unflinching. "No, I'll end mine with truth." She shoves him backward into the fire. The flames swallow his scream. The river explodes in light. They burst into open air, collapsing on the muddy shore. Rain hisses against the embers rising from the tunnel's mouth. Sebastian drops his pistol. Nathaniel kneels beside Amelia, who clutches her chest, but still breathes. Arabella watches the smoke twist upward, black, red, then silver. It curls into the shape of a raven before vanishing into the clouds. Sebastian turns to her, voice rough. "Is he dead?" She answers softly. No truth ever dies so easily. 2 days later, the papers explode with headlines. Blackwood Empire collapses. Evidence of corruption unearthed beneath Thames. The Duchess's discovery. The river of lies that fed the nobility. Arabella refuses interviews. Sebastian refuses congratulations. And Nathaniel, he refuses the inheritance. He tells Parliament, "I will not live on blood I did not spill, but was spilled for me." The city calls him the boy who broke the bloodline. Amelia grows weaker by the day, but she smiles now, peacefully. Her daughter and grandson walk freely through the gardens she once painted in fear. One evening, Arabella sits beside her grandmother's bed. Amelia's eyes flutter open. "Did you burn it all?" Arabella nods. "Then promise me one thing, my dear," Amelia whispers. "When the world forgets, remind them that truth has its own kind of eternity." Her voice fades with the candlelight. The room fills with silence, not of fear, but of peace. Sebastian enters quietly. Arabella doesn't look up. "She's gone," she says, the words cracking on her lips. He kneels beside her, pulling her close. "No, she's free." That night, Arabella dreams of the river again. But it's calm now. In the reflection, she sees not flames, but ink swirling across water, forming a single sentence in Amelia's hand. When truth is told with love, it never drowns. She wakes in tears, sunlight breaking through the curtains. For the first time, the house feels lighter. Yet far beneath London, where the tunnel once was, a single raven lands on a charred stone, its beak glinting as it pecks at something half-buried, a ring. The raven and key crest. Blackwood's ring, still warm. The morning after Amelia's funeral, London breathes like a city newly baptized. Black crepe banners flutter along the riverfront, mourning the woman who defied silence. Yet beneath the calm surface, rumor still stirs, as if truth itself has unfinished business. Arabella stands by the grave, fingers tracing the letters carved into stone. Lady Amelia Wycliffe, artist, mother, survivor. Sebastian watches her from a distance, unwilling to disturb the sacred quiet between generations. Nathaniel places a single white rose upon the grave, then a small locket, the raven and key. "She always said I'd know what freedom feels like when I stop asking for permission," he murmurs. Arabella smiles faintly. "She gave us courage the world didn't think women could own." The wind carries away her words like a blessing. That evening, a soft knock breaks the hush of Wycliffe Hall. A messenger stands at the door, rain dripping from his cloak. He bows and hands Arabella a sealed envelope. "The letter was left in the magistrate's office, my lady. No sender." She turns it over. The seal bears a faint imprint of a raven. Her pulse stumbles. Sebastian joins her, his expression wary. Let me open it. Inside, a single folded page, the handwriting unmistakable. Lord Blackwood's. You burned my name, but not my work. The river hides more than you've seen. I live in the ink that built your fortune. Find me where the portrait smiles without eyes. Arabella reads the lines aloud, voice shaking. Nathaniel frowns. What does that even mean? Sebastian answers quietly. It's a riddle. And I think I know the place. They ride before dawn toward the old Wycliffe Gallery, Amelia's former studio, restored by Parliament after the trials. The building smells of varnish and forgotten genius. Portraits of dukes and duchesses line the corridor, but at the end hangs one painting none of them recognize. A woman in a green gown, her face serene, her hands folded, but her eyes blank, painted over. Arabella whispers, "The portrait smiles without eyes." Sebastian takes a lantern, holding it close. The light catches faint brushstrokes hidden beneath the paint. Words, written in Amelia's own hand. If I vanish, let the eyes see what I could not. Nathaniel steps forward, fingers tracing the edges. There's something beneath. He lifts the frame down, careful as a priest. Behind the canvas, folded papers, dozens, all sealed with Amelia's crest. Arabella opens the first. Letters, sketches, court records, the kind that could ruin noble families still living. Blackwood's accounts, bribes, even a royal signature. Sebastian exhales. She left evidence here, not to destroy, but to protect us if it ever started again. Arabella's voice is firm now. Then we'll finish what she began. We'll make her truth public, all of it. But Nathaniel's eyes narrow. What if that's what Blackwood wanted, to finish what he started? They exchange looks. Sebastian nods grimly. He knew we'd find this. The question is why? As they prepare to leave, the lantern flickers. The air turns colder. A faint sound, the brush of footsteps. Arabella turns sharply. Sebastian? He shakes his head. The sound comes again, slow, deliberate, circling them. From the shadows behind the easel, a figure steps into view. Cloaked, gloved, face half hidden beneath a black hood. Arabella's heart stops. The figure removes the hood. A woman. Tall, striking, her resemblance to Amelia undeniable. Who are you? Sebastian demands. The woman smiles faintly. I am the one she couldn't save. Arabella's voice cracks. You're her daughter. My mother died at birth. No, the woman says softly. She lived. I lived. But not as you know me. Nathaniel stares. Then you're... Clara, she answers. Clara Wycliffe. The child sent away long before you were born. Arabella steps back, the room spinning. Why now? Why come to us? Clara's expression hardens. Because Blackwood was never after Amelia's fortune. He was after mine. Sebastian's tone sharpens. What do you mean? Clara opens her gloved hand. In her palm, a ring. The same raven and key, still warm to the touch. She places it on the table. Because this ring doesn't belong to your family anymore. It belongs to me. The candlelight shivers across her face, revealing a faint burn mark on her temple. A scar shaped like a feather. Arabella whispers, He found you. Clara nods. He raised me, trained me, loved me like a father, until I learned what he'd done to my mother. She looks at the papers on the table. And now, sister, I'm here to end what both of them started. Arabella's voice is barely a breath. By ending what? Clara's smile fades. By ending the name Wycliffe. Once and for all. Thunder shakes the gallery. The portraits tremble on their hooks. And outside, the river begins to rise again, swelling with the weight of every truth still untold. The wind pounds against the gallery windows like a furious hand. Lightning slices through the sky, illuminating the two sisters for the first time, one shaped by truth, the other by vengeance. Arabella's voice trembles. Clara, you can't mean to destroy everything our grandmother fought for. Clara steps closer, the stormlight turning her eyes into molten silver. She fought for honesty. I fight for justice. There's a difference. Sebastian moves between them, his presence calm but iron. Justice doesn't come from ruin, it comes from mercy. Clara laughs softly, spoken like a man who's never paid for his family's sins. Nathaniel stands by the window, fists clenched. Then let me pay. We all share this blood, but don't make her the enemy. Clara turns to him, studying the young man who could have been her twin, if not for years of difference and distance. So you're the hidden heir, the boy everyone whispered about. Do you even know what your inheritance is worth? Nathaniel shakes his head. Not enough to trade for peace. Clara smiles bitterly. Peace doesn't exist for people like us. Only balance. She opens the satchel slung across her shoulder and throws its contents onto the table. Stacks of letters, folded deeds, sealed documents, all bearing the crest of noble houses. These are the names of every family that built their fortune on Wycliffe gold, she says. Your grandmother collected them, but she never used them. I will. Arabella's eyes widen. If you release these, London will burn. Clara nods slowly. Exactly. The room shivers with thunder. The firelight flickers, throwing ghosts of the past across the walls. Sebastian steps closer, tone steady but dangerous. You want to destroy your enemies, but you'll destroy innocent people too. Innocent? Clara's voice cracks. There are no innocents in London's high society. Only those clever enough to hide their stains. Arabella takes a careful step forward. Then let us face them together, in the open, not through ruin, but through truth. That's what Amelia wanted. That's what I want. Clara stares at her. Truth without punishment is permission. A sudden gust of wind bursts through the window, scattering papers. One sheet lands at Arabella's feet, a letter written in Amelia's hand. She bends, reading aloud. If my daughters ever meet, may they see that revenge is only love that has forgotten itself. The room stills. Clara closes her eyes, tears trembling at the edge of defiance. She always wrote as if forgiveness were simple. Arabella answers softly. It isn't, but it's the only thing that stops the fire from spreading. Before anyone can say more, the sound of boots echoes in the hall. Sebastian turns sharply. Guards? Nathaniel looks toward the main doors. No, that's not Parliament security. The gallery doors burst open. Armed men in dark coats flood in, Blackwood's remaining loyalists. The leader snarls, by order of Lord Blackwood, everything in this room belongs to the estate. Sebastian draws his pistol. Blackwood is dead. The man smirks. Then his will lives longer than he did. Bullets splinter the gallery frames. Candles crash to the floor. Arabella pulls Clara behind a pillar while Sebastian fires back. Nathaniel drags the fallen table toward the door as a barricade. Smoke, shouting, chaos. The orchestra of ruin begins again. Clara shouts over the noise. The tunnel below! The river vault connects to the lower docks! They run, ducking beneath a hail of gunfire. Sebastian grabs Arabella's hand, guiding her through the hidden stairwell Amelia once painted into the wall. The stone passage smells of salt and old water. Their footsteps echo in rhythm with their hearts. When they reach the final turn, the sound of the river fills the space. They burst out into the open night, and the Thames is raging, swollen with storm and fury. Sebastian looks back toward the gallery, flames already devouring its windows. All of Amelia's work? Arabella shakes her head. Not all. She left the real truth where it can't burn. She pulls a small diary from her cloak, the last one, bound in black leather. It hums faintly, warm even in the cold rain. Clara stares at it, eyes wide. You found her final journal? Arabella nods. She left it hidden in the chapel before it collapsed. And in it, your name. Clara steps forward, trembling. She remembered me? Arabella opens to the last page and reads aloud. To my daughters, blood divided by sin, united by courage. If my story ends, let theirs begin. The Wycliffe name will not fall. It will be rewritten. Clara covers her mouth, sobbing. All the fire leaves her shoulders. For the first time, she looks like what she truly is. A woman born into pain, finally allowed to grieve. Nathaniel places a hand on her arm. Then stay. Help us rebuild it right. She hesitates, then nods slowly. Behind them, thunder rolls one last time. The gallery collapses in a storm of sparks, its light reflected in the river. A pyre for lies too old to stand. Sebastian wraps his coat around Arabella, whispering, "She burned our past, love. Now we can finally live." Arabella leans against him, watching the flames fade to ash. "Our family was never meant to be perfect, Sebastian. Only honest." The river carries the last embers away, and beneath the surface, unseen, the golden raven ring drifts downstream, turning slowly until it catches on a hidden stone where sunlight will never reach. 1 year later. London breathes differently now. The air still hums with scandal, but the name Wycliffe no longer drips with sin. It glows with renewal. The city that once whispered, now listens. In the heart of Mayfair, a new building stands where the ashes of the old gallery once lay. Its door bears a modest plaque of brass, the House of Truth, founded by the Duchess Arabella and the Duke Sebastian Wycliffe, in memory of Lady Amelia. Inside, light spills through tall windows onto marble floors. Walls once used to hang portraits of vanity now display sketches of the forgotten, workers, orphans, and widows whose names were carved in the tunnels beneath the Thames. Each painting bears a line from Amelia's final diary. "When love dares to tell the truth, beauty follows." Arabella stands in the center hall, watching visitors wander quietly through the exhibit. Children trace their fingers along the carved quotes. Old nobles bow their heads in shame. Clara enters behind her, now dressed in pale lilac instead of mourning black. The burn on her temple has faded to a faint mark, like a memory that finally learned how to heal. She says softly, "They come here every day to see what truth looks like when it isn't written in ledgers." Arabella smiles, eyes warm. "They come to see what forgiveness built." Nathaniel joins them, carrying a crate of papers. They're petitions for reform, labor rights, education funds, widows' pensions. Clara raises a brow. "You've become quite the politician." He laughs. "Someone has to turn Amelia's ink into law." At the far end of the hall, Sebastian speaks with a group of reporters. He's learned to use words like armor and humility like strategy. When he sees Arabella watching, he excuses himself and crosses to her. "The Queen approved the endowment," he says. "The house will stand on royal charter now. No one can silence it." Arabella takes his hand. Not even time. He looks at her for a moment longer than decorum allows. "Do you ever wonder," he asks, "what Amelia would think if she saw all this?" Arabella glances toward the grand portrait unveiled on the wall. Her grandmother, brush in hand, eyes bright, a half-finished canvas behind her. "She'd probably tell us to stop crying and start painting." Sebastian chuckles. "That sounds like her." Clara joins them. "It also sounds like you, sister." Later that evening, when the crowd has gone, the family gathers in the garden behind the gallery. The river glimmers beyond the ivy walls, calm for once. Arabella kneels to place a small wooden box beneath a rose bush. Inside it lies the last of Amelia's diaries, wrapped in silk. She whispers, "You told your truth. Now let ours grow from it." Sebastian covers the box with soil. Nathaniel plants a young rose cutting beside it. Clara ties a ribbon around the stem, green, the color of courage and renewal. A breeze moves through the garden, lifting petals and silence alike. That night, Arabella returns alone to the great hall. The moonlight pours through the high windows, painting everything in silver. She stops before Amelia's portrait and touches the frame. "You were right, grandmother," she whispers. "Love doesn't die. It learns to speak." The candle beside her flickers. For a moment, the air seems to hum, faint, gentle, as though the walls themselves breathe. Then, upon the plaque beneath the portrait, new words appear, written in faint glowing ink. Every truth once silenced becomes a story waiting for courage. Arabella smiles through tears. "Good night," she says softly, and the flame steadies again. Outside, the river moves like liquid glass under the stars. Beneath its surface, something glints. The golden raven ring caught between two stones. A fish brushes past it, and the current shifts, releasing it at last. It drifts downstream, free, carried toward open sea. Morning arrives, the city stirs, and high above, bells toll from every church tower, a new sound for a new season. Arabella walks onto the balcony, Sebastian beside her, the wind lifting her hair. Below them, crowds gather for the reopening of Parliament, where Nathaniel will speak. Clara waves from the carriage, radiant in the sunlight. Arabella leans into Sebastian. "After all the ruin, we are still here," he smiles, "because we learned that love built on truth doesn't need saving. It saves itself." She takes his hand. "Then let's keep building." The camera of imagination drifts upward, over the gallery, the garden, the river that once hid their shame, now glittering gold in the morning light. A voice, soft and certain, echoes like a final line from Amelia's journal. Stories end when hearts forget them. So tell this one again, until silence itself remembers how to speak. When pride breaks, love can breathe. When truth hurts, it heals. And when forgiveness finally takes root, it grows stronger than fear. If this story moved your heart, dear listener, subscribe to the channel, leave a kind comment, and share this tale. Because some truths, and some loves, deserve to live forever.